Willow Tate is totally embracing her dark side and wreaking havoc on others, according to General Hospital spoilers and updates. Will Drew Kane become embroiled in her wicked schemes? We'll talk about the depth of Willow's actions and if Drew tries to stop her or joins the pandemonium. Willow turned out to be the dark lurker gaslighting Sasha. Willow was at the top of the suspect list for kidnapping baby Daisy Gilmore. However, it was later shown that our main suspect is actually the one guilty. Vengeful Willow is manipulating and tormenting Sasha Gilmore Corbin. She has tampered with Sasha's head regarding baby Daisy to the point where she wants to leave Port Charles. According to our most recent scoops, Sophia Matson is leaving GH soon, while Sasha is leaving Port Chuck with the baby. This week, Willow expressed her desire for vengeance for Sasha and Michael Corinthos' alleged betrayal. It's Willow all along. It's now evident that Willow has been bothering Sasha by relocating baby Daisy, changing her clothes and messing with the phone. Willow removed Daisy from her crib upstairs, left with her, and then sneaked in and placed her in the downstairs bassinet to drive Sasha nuts and make her appear paranoid and hysterical. So, for those who are curious, is Willow also responsible for switching Daisy with another baby at the GH nursery shortly after her birth? Yes, she is. Caitlin McMullen verified this in a recent interview. As you recall, Willow was at the hospital when it happened. She checked and Willow had a breakdown clearly. Willow's psyche was breaking down as a result of the custody order. The other stunts she performed with Daisy at the Quartermain estate were more difficult because she had to sneak out of her and Drew's home, and then onto the Kew grounds. Willow, on the other hand, has lived in the house for a long time and is familiar with all of its entrances and exits. Drew's frequent meetings and travel as a congressman have made it simple for Willow to sneak around and act like a lunatic lately. However, she is also the most obvious culprit in harassing Sasha and Michael, if you think about it. Willow's veins run with psycho blood. Willow appeared to be a sweet, kind, and level-headed person while she was with Michael, and this has been the case for a few years. Carly Spencer believed it, as did Michael and the rest of the Quartermains, but we all know Willow is full of insanity. This is owing not only to her family's disturbed gene pool, but also to her upbringing in Shiloh Archer's Dawn of Day, where she had a completely unstable adoptive mother. Now let's briefly go over Willow's DNA, which is pretty odd and twisted. Nina Reeves was absolutely out of her mind when she awoke from her 20-year coma. Willow's grandmother, Madeline Reeves, murdered Willow's biological father, Silas Clay, and the psycho gene spread to her fraternal twin, Nellie Benson. Harmony Miller allowed Shiloh to rape Willow repeatedly. Remember Willow's adoptive mother, Harmony Miller from the Dawn of Day cult? She was very close to Shiloh and even conducted his wedding to Nellie at Pentonville Prison. So, the name Daisy may have aroused something in Willow as well. It just seems unusual that out of all the names in the world, they would choose Daisy, especially considering she was close to someone who had previously caused Willow anguish. Willow's story to baby Daisy and Detective Harrison chases doubts. Willow told baby Daisy that Sasha had betrayed her, and her father Michael refused to let her see her children, Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. Willow informed the baby that they were going to show Sasha and Michael how it felt, then took her for a short stroll, but she eventually returned the baby. Detective Harrison Chase appears to believe Sasha is either lying or losing her mind, and that her stories regarding Daisy are false. I must point you that Sasha has a history of questionable behavior and losing her grasp on reality. This could help Willow in her custody battle if Sasha appears unstable while living with Wiley and Amelia. Will Drew stop Willow's manipulations, or will he join in? When Drew sees what Willow is doing, would he try to intervene? Will he reason with her or take more drastic measures? Drew will be surprised at first because Willow's behavior is out of the ordinary. Nonetheless, he might believe that making Sasha appear unstable will help their case in court. Drew could even join in on Willow's shenanigans, possibly offering her advice on how to further damage Sasha and Michael. Drew, after all, has a wild gleam in his eyes, exactly like Willow. Drew's career would be ruined by a crazy wife even if Drew asked her to stop. Whether she listened or not, he would never divulge that Willow is the one behind this. At the absolute least, Drew will understand why she is acting this way, and will protect Willow because revealing the truth could complicate their legal predicament and his congressional position. Drew cannot marry someone who is unstable and interferes with their child. Willow may never regain custody of her children, and Drew will be unable to run for re-election as a result of the controversy. The General Hospital recap for Friday, July 11th. shows that Rocco Falconeri emailed Liesl Obrecht while Emma Scorpio Drake took Vaughn's key. Trina Robinson also dumped Kai Taylor. So here's how Friday's JH events unfolded. At the gallery, Kai acknowledged to Trina that Jacinda fled because he alerted Drew Kane about Curtis Ashford's plans. Although Kai believed it was the proper thing to do, Trina was furious at his treachery. After Trina stated that her family always came first, she emphasized that Kai would never be considered family. Kai declared his love for Trina, but she screamed at him to leave. Trina looked distraught as Kai walked toward the door. Anna Devane requested Isaiah Gannon to be her cover at Brown Dog Bar after noticing Emma with a guy around 10 years older than her, and wanting the inside scoop. Anna eventually interrupted Emma's night with Vaughn, and subjected him to a grilling session. There was some discussion about Vaughn working in the facilities department at PCU, but he quickly fled to the men's room. Jocelyn Jacks arrived to save Vaughn with a "it's her or me" ultimatum, so he chose her and apologized to Emma. Vaughn and Jocelyn murmured about abandoning their Emma plot, before kissing to sell everything to Anna. After Anna noted on how serious Jocelyn and Vaughn were, she suggested to Emma that perhaps everything worked out for the best. Emma agreed, looking down at the master key she had covertly taken from Vaughn. Curtis informed Portia Robinson at Aurora about Kai leaking information to Drew and jeopardizing his Jacinda project, giving Drew the advantage once again. Portia walked away because she believed Curtis was blaming her and elevating Jordan Ashford above her. Portia arrived at Brown Dog Bar feeling dismal about her marriage and holding herself accountable. Isaiah continued to bond with Portia, acting as if Curtis was the problem. Tracy Quartermain informed Harrison Chase near the Quartermain boathouse that Brooke Lynn Quartermain was headed toward disaster. Chase refused to let Lulu Spencer off the hook for her role in the feud, and he made it obvious that he would not abandon Brooke Lynn. Inside the Quartermain home, Michael Corinthos was with Brooke Lynn when Dante Falconeri questioned her about the Rocco problem. Michael defended Brooke Lynn because he disliked the way Dante spoke to her, but Dante urged him to leave the situation alone. After Michael left, Brooke Lynn attempted to explain her behavior and apologize for allowing Rocco to read the Britt Westbourne file. Dante told out that, regardless of what Brooke Lynn intended to happen, Rocco witnessed it and was coping with a lot. Brooke Lynn cried as she realized she had injured Rocco and would have to live with it. Giovanni Gio Palmieri's blame for what happened gave Brooke Lynn even more reason to be unhappy. However, Dante eventually softened and held out hope that Gio would come around to establishing a connection with them. Back at Aurora, Curtis informed Michael of the upcoming news concerning Sonny, and whether he had ended Natalia Ramirez. Michael insisted that Curtis do whatever he needed to do to protect his family. At Lulu's residence, she informed Laura Collins about Brooke Lynn's Brit study, and how it surprised Rocco when he discovered his birth story. Laura had a beautiful talk with Rocco and informed him that he was always loved, wanted, and a miracle to his parents. Laura also urged Rocco to ask whatever questions he needed till he had satisfactory answers. Later, Rocco sent an email to Liesl Obrecht in which he stated that he used to be her grandchild, implying that he was eager to hear back from her as well. According to General Hospital spoilers, Rocco's recent move will undoubtedly cause Dante and Lulu some stress when they discover it. Willow had long been a symbol of elegance, generosity, and calm resilience in Port Charles. Her life, filled of sorrow and redemption, had been a succession of difficult decisions. Marrying for love, fighting cancer, and reuniting with her estranged mother. However, something inside her had altered. Something sinister had begun to stir, whether as a result of her illness or the numerous betrayals she had suffered. People close to her began to notice subtle changes. She became more cold, calculating, and unconcerned about the moral gray zone she had previously avoided. And it all began with Drew's makeover, or perhaps unmasking. Willow had long regarded Drew Kane to be a man of honor. He had rescued her husband Michael, collaborated with Carly to preserve the family legacy, and stepped in when Sonny became unstable. But recently that image began to crumble. Drew, previously soft-spoken and level-headed, has become hostile and secretive. He wasn't the same man she had previously trusted. Willow was beginning to detect something was wrong, thanks to her honed instincts and the silent wrath growing beneath the surface. Her first curiosity was innocent. She wanted to know about Drew's mood swings, his strange business meetings, the unexpected flood of money, and property acquisitions in Aurora's name. But it quickly became darker. Willow began probing, looking through financial documents, text messages, and emails that Michael had no idea she had access to. What she discovered sent chills down her spine. Offshore accounts, encrypted messages linked to known arms dealers, and contacts in Eastern Europe. This was not simply corporate scheming. Drew was hiding something, and it appeared deadly. Willow hadn't anticipated how exciting the finding would be. For the first time in months since her remission, she felt vibrant and powerful. She was no longer the calm schoolteacher or recovering patient. She was something else totally. She began moving pieces on the board, discreetly manipulating talks with Carly, inserting herself into business meetings in the name of defending the Quartermain family's interests, and keeping an eye on Drew's every move. Michael was so preoccupied with his battle with Sunny that he didn't notice her late-night absences or the icy way she responded to his advances. Drew, however, took note. The tension between them began to brew. "You've changed, Willow," he murmured one evening at the Quartermain mansion as he poured himself a drink. Willow met his gaze without blinking. "There's a fire in your eyes I haven't seen before. Maybe I finally understand what it takes to survive in this family." Drew's gaze shifted between laughter and calculating. He was no longer misled by her quiet demeanor. He was aware she was observing him. The real question was, how much had she discovered? Neither of them noticed they were surrounding each other like predators. Drew had his own explanations for his recent actions. Something inside him had hardened since his stay in Pentonville. He emerged with new contacts, a survival-oriented network, and a strong desire to control his destiny. No more being used as a pawn, not by Carly, Michael, or the demons of Jason's past. Drew was determined to create something untouchable. And if that meant venturing into questionable area, so be it. Willow, in her quest for vengeance, became a wild card. She didn't want to bring Drew down legally. She wanted to expose him, dominate him, and destroy him from within. Drew, in her opinion, had become simply another deceitful man who used the Corinthos name to advance his empire. Worst of all, he was bringing Michael into it, jeopardizing everything she had battled for, including her children's safety and her hard-won calm. So she started sowing seeds. Carly received subtle comments regarding Drew's unpredictable behavior, questioning Ned and Brooklyn about Aurora's new course. She even approached Nina, not to reconcile, but to use her position at Crimson as a tool to covertly probe the magazine's involvement in Drew's operations. Nina, suspicious but interested, agreed to assist, not out of love for Willow, but out of hatred for Carly and distrust of Drew's power moves. It was not long before Sunny became aware of the commotion. He respected Willow, despite the fact that they were not very close. He was taken aback when she abruptly arrived at his apartment. "I'm not here to cause trouble," she informed him, her tone cold. "I need to know whether you have heard anything regarding Drew." Sunny squinted his eyes as he asked, "Anything dangerous?" "What do you think you are doing, Willow?" "I am defending Michael. And you, whether you want it or not. Drew isn't who he claims to be." Sunny already didn't trust Drew, but hearing this from Willow added another dimension. He pledged to keep his ears open, but deep down, he knew something greater was unraveling. Something that may explode if not handled wisely. Meanwhile, Drew became aware of his eroding disguise. A source informed him that someone was tracking his movements. His instincts told him it wasn't the SEC or Valentine, but someone closer. He looked at Willow with a new degree of respect, but also caution. If she kept pushing, he'd be forced to act. He wasn't the same man who had sacrificed his life for his buddies. He was now a man prepared to make sacrifices. He hadn't counted on Willow being a step ahead. To put him to the test, she leaked a bogus contract accusing Aurora of involvement in a black market operation. She watched Drew attempt to intercept it, hurriedly calling a known fixer to clean it up. It was the assurance she required. However, completely exposing Drew would be detrimental to her. Instead, she wanted him to dance. She began coming up to meetings unannounced, making cryptic remarks and referring to topics she should not have known about. Drew was taken off balance, which was exactly what she intended. The power battle between them intensified behind closed doors. To the outer world, they remained members of the same family unit. But inside there was psychological warfare. "You're playing a dangerous game," Drew cautioned her the night following a board meeting. So are you, Willow said calmly. But I'm better at it than you think. Drew began to disintegrate, his hold on Aurora loosening. He couldn't tell Michael, not without revealing his own secrets. Carly saw his heightened volatility and questioned inquiries, but Drew cut her off. Nina began publishing pieces that referred to corporate wrongdoing, as barely veiled jabs at Drew. Willow remained observant throughout. However, the game was approaching a boiling point. Drew began plotting a counterattack. He couldn't eliminate Willow in public, but he could discredit her. He began spreading stories about her mental health, claiming that her cancer treatment had damaged her cognition, that she was unstable and dangerous. It was a harsh move that backfired. Michael, unaware of either objective, became aggressively protective of Willow, pushing Drew even more into a corner. And Willow? She grinned as she read the rumors, because now she had an excuse. The unstable wife might hit without anybody questioning her conduct. She scheduled a meeting for just the two of them. Drew appeared wary yet fascinated. Willow was calm and methodical. She explained the proof, her understanding and her alliances. You either walk away from this town quietly, she added, or I burn everything down around you. Drew initially chuckled, but the laughter faded as he realized how far her reach had extended. She had backup plans, data backups, WSB allies, and Valentine's rivals. She wasn't lying. He looked at her, unsure if he was amazed, afraid, or both. What has happened to you? He asked softly. Willow glanced at him with hollow eyes. I survived. He understood she was referring to more than simply her illness. She had survived betrayal, desertion, and heartache, and she had transformed herself into someone unrecognizable. Something merciless. Drew departed the meeting, unclear of his future steps. He saw now that Willow could not be underestimated. He also knew she possessed the ability to ruin him. The war between them was not ended yet, but the equilibrium had shifted. Willow knew deep down that she couldn't put this version of herself back in the box. She'd crossed a line. There was no way she could return to her former self. But she had the upper hand for the time being. And in Port Charles, that was more than most people received. Laura encourages Lulu. Curtis informs Michael about the upcoming story, and Joss and Vaughn abandon their Emma scam. Sonny locked Gio out for his own protection. Sasha departed PC. Curtis gave in to Drew's demands, and Marco humiliated Boyle in public. When Kai arrives at the exhibition, Trina talks about how inspiring Joel Sartor was. She wonders where Kai is. He tells what happened to Jacinda, and how he told Drew what Curtis intended to do with her. This infuriates her. She can't believe it when he says her father set Drew up. He couldn't allow Drew be slandered. Trina wishes he was more loyal to her. She can't trust him after he vowed to do nothing. He has deceived her and her family. Kai maintains he cares about her and her family, but he can't stand by and watch anything bad happen. She believes he has no idea what's going on. He asks if she'd even want to be with him, and if he'd stand back and let this happen. She isn't sure she wants to be with him at all. She will always choose her family, and he will never be part of it. Get out, she orders. Curtis informs Portia that he couldn't make it to the gallery because Drew was blackmailing him again. He explains that Kai revealed the entire plot to Drew. Portia recognizes that this is bad, particularly for their kid. Curtis warns her to be more concerned about Drew. Portia blames herself for the situation. They disagree about how to address this. He believes he must keep his commitments and protect her for the sake of their daughter. She doesn't care about his sense of honor and believes he doesn't think she's as worthy as Jordan. Don't wait up, she exclaims, rushing out. Anna joins Gannon in the Brown Dog Bar. She's waiting for Felicia, but she just spotted Emma is with a man who is at least a decade her senior. As Vaughn and Emma prepare to leave for a calmer location, Anna rushes over and inquires about her friend. She insists that they stay so she may buy them a drink. Felicia texts to cancel and begins probing Vaughn. He leaves for the men's room. The women fight about her dating an older man. Emma claims she's an adult and he's gorgeous. Anna is particularly concerned because he works for facilities and she has a history of break-ins. When he returns, he is eager to depart. Anna will not hear of it. Before she can say anything, Joss steps in. Emma criticizes her of being too thirsty, and Joss suspects she picked up her ex. Joss informs Vaughn that it's either her or Emma. If she walks out, it's over. Vaughn calls Joss insane, but he's into it. They walk towards the door. He thanks her for protecting him, and they agree that if Anna is interested in him, they should abandon the Emma plan. To sell their reunion, they begin making out. Emma watches and argues that Joss is making a show of herself. Anna feels confident that everything turned out well. Emma looks down at a set of keys in her hand. Portia enters and sits with Gannon, instantly complaining about Jordan pursuing her husband. "If my marriage ends, I've got no one to blame but myself," she tells me. He compliments her and says that her husband is the source of the problem. He proposes that she start playing her own game, not Jordan's. She orders drinks for them. Laura visits Lulu, and her daughter informs her that Rocco has learned about Brit. "BLQ did it." "I'm sorry, little one," Laura says. According to General Hospital teasers on Monday, July 14th, Willow Tate will blame Michael Corinthos, while Carly Spencer is outraged by the Daisy Gilmore scenario. Jason Morgan will also receive a warning after crossing the line. So let's talk about what's next in Port Charles. After Vaughn and Jocelyn Jacks brief Jack Brennan on their aborted Emma Scorpio plan, he may wonder if they're doing enough to complete their objective. Brennan will put pressure on Jocelyn and Vaughn to completely commit, so they must be willing to make some big decisions for the sake of this WSB assignment. Elsewhere, Anna Devane will open up to Felicia Scorpio, so she may mention meeting Vaughn and express her distrust. Meanwhile, Emma will confess to someone, and she may show Giovanni Gio Palmieri the master key she stole from Vaughn at Brown Dog Bar. Next, Marco Rios will ask why Alexis Davis believes Sonny had nothing to do with Natalia Ramirez's death. Alexis understands that Sonny is capable of truly horrific things, yet she will think he is innocent in this situation. Blaze, alias Allison Allie Rogers, was someone Christina Corinthos Davis adored, so Alexis may argue that Sonny would never kill her mother, no matter how difficult Blaze's relationship with Natalia was. Natalia's memorial will also be included on Monday's episode of GH, so expect some difficult moments throughout the funeral. During the gathering, Jen Sidwell will discuss Natalia's death with Lucy Coe, implying that no one knows what happened at this time. Carly will learn the latest news about Sasha Gilmore Corbin's want to leave town with Daisy as a result of the stalker issue. Sonny, Carly, and Michael will be present to discuss Sasha and Daisy's decision to relocate for their own protection. The prospect that someone is after Daisy because of Sonny will be raised, causing Carly to become even more concerned about their family's safety. Carly will wish there was another solution for Daisy and Sasha, since she will be devastated at the prospect of her baby granddaughter leaving PC. Willow will go on a rage during a discussion with Isaiah Gannon. Willow will say that Michael drove her to all of it, though she is unlikely to reveal the details about exploiting Daisy or gaslighting Sasha. While Willow blames Michael for her difficulties, Lulu Spencer will issue a warning to Jason Morgan. Jason recently spoke with Rocco Falconeri about Britt Westbourne, but Lulu makes it clear that this will never happen again. Lulu is unaware of it, but she has more pressing concerns because Rocco was recently observed sending an email to Liesl Obrecht, who is returning to Port Charles. According to General Hospital spoilers, Rocco's storyline is about to take some unexpected turns, so stay tuned. According to General Hospital spoilers and updates, Willow Tate may face arrest and imprisonment as a result of her recent offenses against Daisy Celeste Gilmore. These sins also affect Daisy's parents, Sasha Corbin and Michael Corinthos. Thus, let's talk about the big disclosure that just happened and the potential consequences Willow may face. Daisy definitely has a stalker. Daisy has been rumored to have a stalker since her birth. Someone was clearly observing, from Sasha Corbin receiving the wrong baby at the hospital to the new mother discovering the infant in a different onesie. The program on Tuesday, July 8th, confirmed that Willow Tate was not simply watching over Daisy from a distance. She is also reportedly taking her out of her crib for walks. Willow gently informed Daisy that she was unhappy with both Sasha for betrayal and Michael for taking her children away, and that it was time for them to feel what she felt. Willow's mental health meltdown. GH watchers have witnessed Willow go through a mental health crisis after losing full custody of Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. Michael was granted sole guardianship of the children, which Willow has found difficult to accept. She has not only pursued Daisy, but she has also deliberately attempted to meet Michael and Wiley in the Metro court pool. This is out of character for her and directly contradicts the judge's court order, breaking several important statutes as she emotionally unravels. Most importantly, she should not be near Daisy at all, much less pick her up from her crib. Simply stepping into the Quartermain mansion without permission is a violation, which might land Emma in serious trouble. Some assume Sasha is struggling with postpartum issues, looking at you, Olivia Quartermain, but the new mother will eventually face charges of mental health difficulties. The truth will ultimately come out, so what will happen when it does? Surely, neither Michael nor Sasha will allow Willow off the hook, and she will face the full extent of the law. It doesn't help that Sasha is a Scorpio, and her uncle Max Scorpio also runs the Port Charles Police Department. Even if Sasha and Michael want to ease up on Willow because she is the mother of Daisy's siblings, Mac will not allow it. However, the topic of Willow's mental health cannot be disregarded. She is plainly struggling, and some General Hospital viewers believe she may have dissociative identity disorder. This could explain Willow's peculiar recent behavior. If Willow is diagnosed with DID when the truth is exposed, she may end herself in Ferncliff rather than prison. According to General Hospital spoilers, Willow will face penalties for her terrible sins against Daisy, Sasha, and Michael no matter what happens. So, whether she goes to jail or a treatment center, she will be separated from her children Wiley and Amelia for a long time. General Hospital spoilers for Friday, July 11th, state that Rocco Falconeri will make a bold move as Michael Corinthos serves as referee. Jocelyn Jacks will also issue a public ultimatum to Vaughn, so there will be a lot of activity in Port Charles. At Brown Dog Bar, Jocelyn and Vaughn will have a heated dispute in which he appears compelled to pick between Joss and Emma Scorpio Drake. Of course, this will simply be another instance of Jocelyn putting on a show for Emma's sake. It will allow Vaughn to develop his bond with Emma and continue working toward his goal of derailing her Professor Henry Hank Dalton probe. Anna Devane will have her hands full with Emma on Friday's episode of General Hospital. Emma will be unhappy about something. Therefore, Anna may force her to give up her new beagle,